All right, it looks like we are just at the top of the hour. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Lynn Voss with MutualCare. I see a couple more people have joined us, and we're just going to get rolling here with mastering the MutualCare solution software. Uh, Again, my name is Lynn. I work in a marketing support position, assisting with quotes, supplies, um, you name it, I'm there, product questions, things of that nature. And I use the MutualCare Solutions software very, very often. So today we're going to be going through and sharing some pro tips, and they're not necessarily insider tips, but I I'll just share what I do on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully you can take away some helpful things or strategies that will allow you to run quotes like a pro. So first and foremost, I'm not going to go through the entire software download process, but I will let you know where to find it. Um, if you if you go to our agent-facing website, which is goldencareagent.com, it is actually under the products menu under software download. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through the entire software download process, but we do actually have a fast fact where the entire process is recorded in a video format. You can watch it, it's just a few minutes long. You can find that also on our agent facing website. But if you go there to download the software, it's just a very basic form that you would need to complete, and you would be able to download from there. Another place you could go to download is mutualltcquote.com. This is nice, especially if you are facing your clients and perhaps wanted something unbranded. It's a really basic site, but again, very basic information requested first prior to going to providing you the link to begin the download. Now, the entire system can normally be completed within minutes. Once you are done, you will have a new icon on your desktop, and this is the software that I'm referring to. Now, I am actually running a slightly outdated version 3.82.0.0, just to be able to show the very first thing. One of the big advantages when this MutualCare solution software was developed by a combination of our team and our partners at American Independent Marketing, we developed this to be smart. So as you're running the software, if you happen to see this yellow notification in the upper right corner, this is actually telling you that a new version is available. So if you click that button, you'll see a couple pop-ups happen, and it will initiate the download. Once you close that software, then the very next time you open it, you'll be running the latest version, which at this time is version 3.84.0.0. All right. So one of the things that everyone is looking for these days is a large screen, or if you don't have a large screen and you're just trying to make the most of the space that you have, the software does accommodate. So there is the option to pin the client, agent, and quote section out so it remains visible the entire time. This is actually my preference as I go through and run quotes. It is not necessary, and if you see just this rust or red colored bar, to hover is the way you can get that menu to pop back out. And as long as you click the pin down, it will allow it to remain open. All right, so I had referred to the quotes section, and this is something that I use in almost every situation. If you have a client in your system and they want to see perhaps more than one plan design, you can actually go through and click copy current. Now, whatever plan design you had initially on your screen, and here it is designated as quote 001, it will duplicate everything over to a different screen. And on this different screen, this is where you can make changes, change the plan design, perhaps change the inflation option, make as many changes as you'd like. And the culmination of all of those changes is what you're looking for. This, this software is one of the industry's best in the fact that toggling on and off benefits, you can see the visual impact of those options on the premium. And if now you go back to the first quote that you had started with, it will give you a total combination of all of those different options I had marked, changes to the benefits. You'll actually see all of that together and how it impacts the premium. Now, above and beyond that, you're actually able to change the name of these quotes. So let's see if I add the waiver of elimination for home health care. Now, this can help you in way of just keeping your thoughts and quotes organized and being able to pull up the correct quote from the list as it populates. You're actually able to quote multiple scenarios per client. Note when you do create these additional quotes, as you save your client, all of these variations will be saved and can be opened later as well. But if you rename your illustration, it will actually show up on the printed pages as well. So let me bring this over. And you can see here, add 0 EPHHC. That's exactly what I had named that quote. If you are the kind of person who prints your illustrations and perhaps you take 2 or 3 different plan designs with you, you don't have to worry if those pages get mixed up because this actually identifies which quote this page belongs to. All right, so in these extra quotes, this even applies to Mutual of Omaha's Secure Solution product. So this is something that if they're considering either plan or want to understand the differences, again, you can save it. And as you click between each of these different quote options, you get a very quick view of how all of that impacts the premium. So that is the quotes tab. I'll go through some of the basic information too. We'll slowly progress through this webinar and get to some of the more high-level pro tips. But of course, the state here, there's a couple hidden features. If you click on the word state, it will actually open a visual menu from which you can choose your state. Obviously, there's also the drop down, but it just depends on your preference. Let's see here. Now, the whole menu across the top, there are a variety of different options. And of course, you've seen me save the client a number of times already. Many of these same options can be found under the File tab. And aside from the software, the status of the software and whether it's current, the option furthest to the right, aside from the software status, is the guide. And this will actually allow you immediate access to the product guide as well as the underwriting guide directly from the software. So the software does work without an active internet connection. If you take it with you on a laptop and your client has some health concerns that you just need to double check whether Select would be the appropriate underwriting class to quote, it's always here at your fingertips. Now, this guide button is one of the few things that are not found under the File tab. This is actually found under the Help tab. So just a minute difference there. When you open many of these options, print, preview, email, PDF, it will open a pop-up that you can toggle between some of the other options, printing, emailing, saving. This will actually allow you to select which pages you would like to include. So when I had previewed the quote earlier, it just had the quote page available. Let me bring this back over here. And it's just the one page. Now, when I hit preview again, these other pages, you can include as many or as few as you'd like, and it just expands the scope of what your illustration will show, including what some minor changes or a couple different versions, how that may impact the premium if in case you do not have your software readily available. Okay. Now, something that I'll point out too is that the icons, let's see here. I'm going through and saving, but I do want to go through and open as well. So I do have a couple different test clients in here, and I'm going to switch over to John and Jane Doe. Now, this was a very clear clue that something changed. We went from the blue background with the secure solution back to the tan background on the custom, and you can see that the client information and the agent information appears. But you'll see two separate icons. And with these icons, I get this question often, it does not distinguish gender. The red is not associated with male, the blue is not associated with female. This is just to distinguish which benefits are being applied to which client. So if your blue icon is in absolutely amazing health, you'll know changing the icon under the red character would indicate the better health is applied to the person listed first. And again, if you'd prefer to quote or have the female information first, you can certainly put that in there and just make sure to adjust the gender as necessary. Another one of those basic tips is as you're quoting, if you make changes to one under the red icon, this is something that may impact your ability to, or it could lead to some frustration, in fact. If you're trying to quote different benefits per client, you certainly can, and I think that is most visible under the inflation option. Absolutely, the plans are underwritten on each individual's health. They can certainly, even if married or domestic partners, they can absolutely have different plan benefits, different plan lengths, different riders. Just know whatever election is changed under the red icon or the first applicant, making a change will overwrite what had been included for the blue icon. So if you are adjusting benefits for your second applicant, it is important to note going back and changing benefits under the red may overwrite what you had selected for the blue. Okay. And there are a number of different boxes and different options. We'll open the Pick Max button first. This is allowing you to see a visual representation of the different plan options available on the custom solution plan. Mathematically, you're able to elect a monthly benefit and corresponding policy limit, and mathematically that will give you approximately how many years or how many months that plan will last. This will just give you a visual of that. So as you see the growing larger policy limit amounts in the darker brown, You're only slowly moving up the maximum monthly benefits. So the plan options on the far left or in the darker brown sections are known as what we call the long and skinny, where the monthly benefit is small, but the policy limit is long, and it would last for for approximately 8.3 years. Whereas on this screen, if you are sticking to the very lightest squares, the very light tan, that is what we call the short and fat plan designs, where you are really ramping up the maximum monthly benefit, knowing that if the full monthly benefit is not paid, the remaining benefit or unused benefit in that month just stays in the total policy limit, therefore allowing the plan to last longer. So this is just the visual representation of that, and whatever change you make here, if you hit OK, the software does actually pull those elections in so you can generate the illustration. Okay, so some of these other boxes for the monthly benefit, there are the 3 dots. And this can get complicated very quickly, so I'm just going to be brief. But here is where you're actually able to, based on the policy limit and the monthly benefit, you can tell the software to quote just 4-year plans. And it will, in the policy increments and the monthly benefit increments, of course, it's going to give you fewer options if you select a much greater amount for the increment. The further over to the right that you get, or including more options to generate that 4-year plan, you can see the options are nearly endless. And this speaks to the flexibility of the custom solution plan. There are numerous options, and this goes through and shows you just how extensive that can be. So I don't use that screen as often as I use the drop-down arrow. And this gives you just a short uh, range of options for what you can quote for the monthly benefit. The options in green do fit within the plan length allowed, which is between 2.08 years and 8.33 years. And you can see some of what is popping up as I hover. It gives you a cue to what that is and approximately the cost. And the same types of options are available for the policy limit. And again, I don't use this one as often, and this just gives you an abbreviated, a shorter list of what options you can choose. Now, something that may not be as widely known is that you can also type in a specific dollar amount. So if you're looking for a 3-year plan, you can grab your calculator or do the quick math. 36 months multiplied by 4,500. I've been doing this long enough that I know it is 162,000 for the policy limit. You can actually type in the desired policy limit, and it will give you the estimation here, approximately how long that plan would last. Now, like with the other 3 dots, there is also the same menu here that brings up that same pop-up. All right, the next thing that I'll cover is the pick inflation pop-up. So this is really another way to see just the flexibility of the custom solution plan. All of the inflation options, of course, the custom solution plan ranges from 1% up to 5%, and there are different inflation term options that you can choose from, allowing benefits to grow for lifetime, 10, 15, or even 20 years. And based on the person's age, this will actually show you what options will qualify for the state's partnership program. Now, the ages of the individuals in my software now, they're both over 60. All of these options would apply. Um, if I were to quote perhaps something a little shorter, you'll see that it is outside of that green box and would not qualify for the partnership program. So the last part of that is actually this blue section here. And I simply use this as a quick reference to know what the partnership requirements are based on age. So I had mentioned that that there are options that would not qualify. So to find out how old a person would have to be before the 10-year inflation term would still qualify under the Missouri State Partnership Program, this is where you can refer to it. And here in the 10-year inflation term, you'll see that the person must be 66 or older to qualify before this 10-year inflation term option column would be green as well. All right, we'll move on just a little bit. All right, so one of the other boxes, of course, these have their drop downs, very short menus. But another one of the options that brings up a menu is the target premium. Now, my opinion is that this works probably best for single individuals. When working with a married couple, you can certainly put in a specific dollar amount, and given what is provided for the inflation and the elimination period, the software will actually make adjustments to the monthly benefit in order to bring the premium to to that dollar amount you had mentioned or typed in. So it is handy, but let me go in and make a quick change here. The reason I say it's not necessarily as great for couples, there's no way just to specify just for a single person who, what their annual premium would be here. So this is always going to base that amount I had typed in for the target, that's going to be the combined total. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the pricing varies so greatly or differs so greatly between male and females of the same age. Um, so it's just handy if you have this and you're really looking for some very basic, some of what you're looking for and you're just needing it to fit within a certain budget. To have that do its work, you would just click the OK, and then to disable, to disable, you would just hit the off. Okay, so another thing, and this is getting to some of the higher level pro tips, um, this MutualCare solution software actually allows you to quote all ages. So it's utilizing something called premium tables, and part of it is hidden. So I'm going to extend this up just a little way. So when you hit that option, it's under Tools, and I've already turned mine on. And when you do, you'll see small tables that start to show up next to the options that you're able to quote. So if you choose a couple of these options and you would like to print an all ages quote, what you would do is click away from the options, but click in this lower section and just begin typing the word Excel. Now, it happened very, very quickly, but it actually populated all of the information into your Excel spreadsheet. And the options I had chosen were to include ages, of course, and I had chosen to show the difference between male and female rates at all ages with differing marital status. And that would give me a well-rounded view. If you're working with a client and they did not provide the age of their husband, although you know they're going to have matching benefits and they're both in great health, this way you can still rest assured that you have all of the information that you need to come up with an accurate premium once you do find the other person's age. So a few more things. There is the ability to email quotes, and I probably should have covered this earlier. As long as you are using a browser-based or internet-based email, you can actually email quotes, and the system will actually open a new email. It will attach the PDF, and then it is just your job to enter who you're going to send it to, enter the recipient, write your message. It's a really nice way to get things done quickly, but just know, unless you're saving the client in your illustration software, it will not save a duplicate of this PDF somewhere locally on your machine. So that is a nice feature. A couple other things that just tips that I've come across is the ability to grab just a screenshot of what is appearing on your software. So under the File menu, there's a Print Screen Preview, and this will open a visual of the items or benefits, the elections that you've chosen in your software. There's a variety of different options, including the ability to export even as an image file. What I typically do is just drag and copy. And if I go back to that all ages quote, you'll see that it does not show you what was quoted. It doesn't have any mention of the benefits. But if like I was saying, this is just a really nice way to be able to show what was in your illustration software as you were running the all ages quote. You do also have the ability to send screenshots through this print preview, sending that via email. Now, one other way is, and you may have seen this, if you download and run the MutualCare solution software on perhaps both a laptop to take with you to appointments, as well as, say, a desktop computer at your office, you'll see that clients or quotes that you run on one do not appear on the other. So quotes that you initially draw up on your laptop will not then show up and allow you to make changes from the software on your desktop. And this is because these programs do save your clients in a local location. Now, it's another way that you're able to send quotes to other administrative staff, other teammates, but you're able to, if you find your My Documents, there is a MutualCare Solutions folder, and this is where your saved information will appear. Now, in this demonstration, I have Test Agent and John Smith, and I had clients saved, John and Jane Doe, And under test agent, I just had valued client. Now, there is the ability to send the files, the software files within the clients. It's in a certain format that's able to be read by the MutualCare Solutions software. And those files are able to be emailed. Now, I will go ahead and bring up my inbox here. There is a client quote that I had run, James and Mary. And not only can you send, like I said, the screenshot of the software, but you're also able to send that quote file. Now, it's just something that's able to be read by the MutualCare Solution software. So even Outlook won't generate a preview. But if I go back out and say I'm going to add this client to John Smith, what I would do is create a new folder. You would want to name it exactly as it appears. James and Mary. And then if I take and drag this quote here into that James and Mary folder, it should now allow me to open that client. You'll see that James and Mary is showing up under Agent John Smith. And opening that, now the quote I had drawn up for them on another computer is now reflected in the software I am using now. So if you're able to, like I said, in the case where you're using a laptop in some scenarios, a desktop in others, if you are emailing that type of quote file to yourself, you can actually move clients from one software to another. I believe that's about everything that I had. These are some of the things that I use with the software, some of the tools that I use inside the MutualCare Solution software. Often it allows me to work through quotes, draw them up fairly quickly, and go about helping more agents with their client cases. I'm glad you were able to take a little bit of time out of your day today to join me, and I appreciate your willingness to listen and learn some of these new tips and tricks. Hopefully some of what you've seen today you'll actually take and begin using in your day-to-day life in terms of helping your own clients. Again, if you haven't gone to the Golden Care Agent website, I encourage you to do so. There, if you don't already have the MutualCare Solution software, you're able to find it and download it. And you're also able to find a fast fact video that would walk through the entire download process, so you can go through it step by step prior to the software download. If you have any questions, feel free to give our office a call. The number here is 1-800-842-7799, and anybody on the marketing team would be more than happy to help. So thanks again, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.
Check out our website, goldencareagent.com, or give us a call at 800-842-7799.